We're at THSCA. We got coaching school and Angelo State head coach Jeff Girsch. Coach, how are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. It's an awesome event to be able to come down here and see all these coaches and all the different sports. And, we were talking earlier about the AFCA coaching convention, and I think this is more impressive. When you got every single sport here through the state of Texas, and what Texas does and this organization does to promote their sports and make it important to the kids. It's awesome, and this event's unbelievable.
It really is, and you always like to be a part of this because it's important to not only connect but with these coaches. And you were doing a turf demonstration just a little bit ago over there, and you mentioned you didn't know there'd be that many people. I think that speaks a testament to what you've built up at Angelo State.
Well, I appreciate that. It's like I said, the coaching world is about relationships and getting here. It's going to be about recruiting too, right? But there's a lot of coaches that I just want to come and see as people, and not just as coaches. But it helps out in the recruiting and helps out in everything that we're trying to accomplish, and building those relationships and being around these people. It's special.
I get asked a lot of questions a lot of times, and we've talked about this before from some high school parents that are, and some kids that are like, man, I don't know, I want to try. And we have talked, and I've spoken with you and a few other coaches, and I want to touch on some points to get your thoughts on this. I think the first thing is, and this is probably the biggest from what I've understand, the kid has to be the one to send emails, but the kid has to be the one to do this. The importance behind that, if you could kind of give us some of that.
Yeah, and there's no doubt. Obviously we watch a ton of film of kids throughout the state, and we can tell that they're good football players. They're a kid that matches up to what we're looking for in recruiting. The interest level has to come from that kid. The coaches are gonna push them in the sense of promoting their kids and doing what they can to get them in the right spots and that part. But we want to hear from the kid too. The kid wants to be a Ram or play football. There's kids that get burnt out at times, right? And you hear from a mom or a dad in an email like, "Hey, my son's interested." Well, let's have the son reach out and talk to us on that part if he's interested. So, things like that. But I think a lot of that is taken care of through the coaches here. The Texas high school coaches, they get it and they understand, where the true goals and interests of those players. Are they interested in going on and playing the next level? And the other thing about it is too, we're a Division II program, and we're a premier Division II program in the country. But at the same time, there are a lot of guys that have goals of going Division I. So that interest level into Angelo State may come a little bit later in the recruiting process, and we understand that, and we'll continue to recruit those kids.
And I'm interested to get your thoughts on the COVID year, because we saw kind of a shift where high school kids are more available to you now than they were before because of that COVID year. But my argument is that when in a couple of years, when all this phases out, and the access to the high school kids will go back to where it was to the top level, and then you guys will have to shift back into more of that transfer stuff.
It's going back and forth. That I would have said that, a couple of years ago, but the way the transfer portal is playing out now, we are talking to better high school kids, even outside of the COVID side of things.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of schools in the state, throughout the country, and there's some in the state, and I'm not going to name names or anything, but, they used to bring in 30 to 35 high school kids a year. Well, now they're bringing in 10 or 15 because they're taking the other ones from the portal. Well, that's a watered down effect, and we're talking to some of the best Texas high school football players we've ever talked to. The process is going to be keeping them. You got to get them, develop those kids, and go. But it is what it is. The COVID year for us, that was a blessing in disguise in the sense that if you're taking something good out of it, we played 4 games. And by playing those 4 games, we developed a quarterback. We did some things and kept our guys, motivated to continue to play. And then got a taste for those seniors, got a taste of that season, and they came back. And by keeping those kids, that made us a really good football team the next year. So that was, a blessing in disguise. I guess taking the best of a bad situation, we got those games in. We decided to play those 4 games, and that was huge for our program.
And you talk about we're going to be at LSC Media Days in a couple of weeks, and so then we'll dive into more of the team type of stuff because we'll talk about some of the players lost and things. But we will talk then too about your program foundation because you've really built a program on top of it. When you're looking at a kid's tape, What are you get tapes. I see tape, right? I see highlights. I don't see how the kid plays.
Yeah.
Right? Because you know when you see it. We talk about, you said you want the kid to reach out. It's because if you don't have that passion to play, then that's a non-starter at the college level, right? I mean, high school to college is going into a business. Yeah. College athletics at every level is a business, and I think that's not looked at that way by a lot of kids coming into it.
It is, and the thing about it is our rule is if they don't know, they know. We do.
Yes.
It's not somebody we're going to pursue in recruiting. If they don't know if they want to play, we're definitely going to look in a different direction with it. And,
you got to have the passion for this. Yeah. If you don't love this, you're not going to be through. It is a sacrifice.
It's
time to win a conference title, to be where you guys are every year, national quarterfinals. I mean, to be in that state where you're a preseason top 5 regardless now.
Yeah, it can be exhausting for both coaches and players. So
you take sacrifice, and that sacrifice is how much time they have, how much they're working. Everybody says they work hard, right? But the ones who do are the ones that are reaching this level. I wanted to the community of San Angelo, and not just that. You mentioned earlier premier program. You're a premier athletic department. Yeah. You've got the Division II national champions in baseball this year. Yeah. We were talking in March at the Division II Women's South Central Regional that was hosted by Angelo because their basketball team was the 1 seed. You've got Vinay Patel over with the men's basketball program, and he's doing outstanding things.
Yeah.
I think you guys all kind of feed off each other. You're all a lot the same. I think you're all pushing each other to be better. There might be a little more pressure now to to win national titles, right?
Coach Brooks bringing that national title home. That first off, it's unbelievable, but it's not. I'm not surprised. I mean, the guy. I mean, how he works, how he recruits, and he's been there a long time. He's built an unbelievable program. They've been so good for so long, and it was just bound to happen. And this year, just kind of everything came together for him. But again, you mentioned the basketball programs, everything that we're doing right now. Throughout the track programs, I mean, it's crazy. The leadership at Angelo State has done a good job of hiring. I think.
Yes.
They've brought the right fits in, and we've had some great coaches that have left. But then you got to replace those, and bringing in, a guy like Vinay and how he approaches things. Keeping Kevin Brooks around for 19 years.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yeah.
And,
that's huge.
Yeah. I mean that's huge, and just those type of things. I think that Coach Reed, our athletic director, James Reed, has done a good job, along with our administration, of keeping people here. And that's a commitment by the university. And so to do that, to win games, you got to have great coaches. You got to recruit great players. Yeah. But you have to have an administration that allows you to keep people. And I think that all of our sports have done a good job at that.
You've got kind of a hidden gem in Texas there at Angelo State.
Yeah.
You've got a nice football field.
Yeah.
Right, the only complaints the media has is we're in the sun, right? But
you're in the visitor side.
If that's the complaint, oh well, right?
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Yeah. Anyhow, but you've got a nice football field. You're upgrading. I think you got a new scoreboard recently.
We did, yeah.
And then you've got the Junell Center, and that thing is just incredible. For a Division II school, it is a gorgeous gym. The atmosphere during those games when Angelo State was there was fun. Yeah. That was what we live for in sports.
It's the excitement. It's the excitement of winning. It brings people to it. Everybody talked about for football over the years, how do you get more people there? I'm like, you got to win. That's what it comes down to. And we've done that. And seeing that place, the energy in the Junell, the energy at our stadium when we were playing Central Wash for a conference championship outright, playing in those playoff games, especially the Mines game at the end. Unfortunately, we didn't win that game. But, looking back, there was a time on one of the plays in a Central Wash game, one of our kids got hurt, and I was on the field with him and walking back, and he was fine. He just got banged up, and we're walking back. And then looking at the home side, it was a night game, and I looked at him and I said, you've done this. This is what you guys have done for Angelo State football. What the kids have I call them kids, they're men. What they've done to prepare and get to this point, it's brought those fans back, and it's brought that energy and excitement back in the program. So, in all sports, and that part was great.
And I think we forgot during some of the downtime of the Rams recently, the fan base is quite large. I remember when Chris Beard was coaching the
Yep.
men's basketball team, and when you start winning, like you said, that fan base is quite large, and they're very, very loyal to you as well.
They are, you know, and they're just such great support there. The families, you see them at every event, you know, whether it's football, soccer, basketball, baseball, they're at every event, and they're supporting people, and it's a true family atmosphere when it comes to it. And the biggest part of it, I think, is the student body. Like, they're really getting into these games now, and
that's hard to do these days.
It is.
Has there been any, other than winning, is there any other secret to getting the student body out?
You know, you just got to make it interactive a little bit. You know, there's different things they do to get people there, and you know, whether it's you know, giveaways, that kind of, just getting people excited about it. But ultimately, it's going to come down to winning and having them be excited about what's going on. The other thing is recruiting great kids outside of football. You know, so when you're sitting in the cafeteria or walk into a class or something and you see somebody in an Angelo State football T-shirt and they're good kids.
Yes.
You know, that part of it is huge for the student body too, treating people with respect, and I think we've done a really good job at that with the help of you know, the great recruiting. We're definitely straight line recruiting. We're going to talk to coaches and make sure we're getting the right kids, the high school coaches, to make sure. So that's big, but ultimately it comes down to winning football games and winning basketball games and getting that excitement.
And you understand that importance of the relationship and how that it's important in your team, and that's why you have been winning, and why I think one of these years, I'm not going to say this year, but I don't think it's going to be too long before you and I are talking in McKinney at a national title game, to be honest with you.
I hope that happens soon. You know, our kids have worked so hard, and this staff, that's something I need to make sure we talk about. This staff that I have, we've been very fortunate in keeping, you know, the core together for a long time. You know, Adam Clark is a defensive coordinator. Kevin Kilmer as our offensive coordinator. These guys, and you know, Jason Johnson's been in that program for almost as long as I have.
Yeah.
You know, those guys, and obviously all of them, but like those three I'll highlight that have just done unbelievable things for us and stayed together, stayed loyal to the program, and you know, have had opportunities to do different things.
Yes.
And it's, you know, having that right fit, and again, that goes back to the administration making it hard to leave here.
And it also talks to the administration, but it goes all the way down. It's from the administration to they set the tone of build the solid relationship, and that filters down through the rest of the staff. I mean, you got Adam Clark, you mentioned, the defensive coordinator. He was at Western New Mexico. Yeah. He's got head coaching experience. He's been a very successful defensive coordinator. Well, you guys together have been an amazing defense. I know he's had opportunities, right? Yeah. But unless it's that tells me it's going to have to be special for him to actually do that. And that just shows that fabric you've created and that the whole athletic department's created at Angelo State.
No doubt. And you know, Adam, I'll age myself here a little bit. I actually coached Adam in college back a long time ago. But, you know, he's one of those, I call him a football junkie. I mean, the guy he lives and breathes football. He's the best family man you'll be around too. But football is so important to him, and our kids respect how he approaches it. And the same with Coach Kilmer. You know, Kilmer, he's came in, and he was probably in the toughest spot. You know, when I hired him back before the 2019 season, you know, we were changing offenses, and we were trying to find the right fit and doing things. So he probably had the most pressure. We were pretty good on defense for a long time at Angelo State. And you know, Adam came in and changed what we do. But, you know, he had some great kids there, and how Coach Kilmer has developed our offense. And he was the one with probably the tougher road there. And I'm so proud of him and how he's done that. And he brings a calming approach to things on the offensive side. Offense and defensive coaching are two different things.
Yes, and to be successful, they are. And I mean, why not? We're here. Let's get into it a little bit. So the reason sounds like you think it might be obvious. It really kind of is. Like, the offense needs to be calm because things are moving fast. Everything's hectic when that 6-second starts, when that ball snaps, right, for that next 6 seconds. You're just going off memory. So that calm before helps you feel that play and you're going. That's really big. But on the defensive side, you either got a strength and conditioning coach or a defense. If you see a coach going crazy on the sideline, they're either defense or they're strength and conditioning.
Yeah, that's about right. You know, Coach Kilmer, our offensive coordinator, he has to remind me like once a game that he's the one that needs to talk to the quarterback. He's calming with him, and I'll sometimes say, "What are you doing here?" You know, he needs to hear a calming voice, so he has to remind me at least once.
That's that defensive guy in you, and that intensity you have out there. I mean, when I was walking the sideline last year, Angelo Midwestern State, I walked behind the bench, and man, you just felt that intensity on that side just so much, and it's everybody, that focus. It's incredible what you guys have built. It really is.
And I appreciate that, and you know, our kids, with them buying into it, that's the part of it. You know, like when we are up in a game and we have subs in, I expect the same thing. I expect the same effort, execution of what we're doing, and our kids have done that. You know, there are a lot of coaches, I shouldn't say a lot, but our approach is we're not, just because we're up, we're not going to stop coaching, and we're going to make sure these kids are going, and that's how we're going to survive in Division II with transfer portal and stuff. Our number two's got to be ready to go. You know, on that part. So, you know, just developing those kids and doing that, and our coaches don't take a play off in games or practice, and we're doing that. Well,
I will see you in a couple weeks at the Lone Star Conference Media Day, and we'll talk the fun stuff, right? The roster, the things that you're like, no, can we keep talking this stuff?
Yeah, it's still the roster's still, you know, it's still in works. You know, we're working on some things, but man, I'm excited about it. But I appreciate you guys, and look forward to seeing you in McKinney.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you.